really shown. You don't want to hide. You want to make yourself known. You want to say, I am here and I'm supposed to be here. You don't want to apologize.
It's called
Yeah.
the Wonder Woman pose.
Powerful
You
pose.
could do the Superman pose for the guys in here.
That's
It's a
right.
Wonder Woman pose. Yeah.
Wonder Woman, I like that. Make eye contact, but not too much. I did learn from working with some of the scholars that in Nigeria, particularly when you're young, you're not supposed to make tons and tons of eye contact with somebody that's older than you. And so, yeah, we don't really have that custom in America, but that was something good to know. But as you go into your professional career, maybe if you were taught to not look directly in the eyes because you were much younger before you were having those interviews and those types of engagements, now is the time that you actually can have the eye contact and you make sure that that's important and you feel proud and confident about that. So that's something to keep in mind. And then use hands to improve speech. I'm holding on to my notebook today, but I'm a gesticulator, and that means you use your hands to talk, and it's a way to get engaged. And when you're listing out different things, you can say 1, 2, 3, and you can really engage with one another that way. So that's another way to really get the audience into your space. Measuring success. So going back to really, no matter what the sender is saying, it's more important that the recipient gets your information, that if the recipient does not receive the message, you did not communicate effectively. So you want to always measure that. You want to get some sort of feedback process that your sender did get the correct message. So asking somebody one-on-one, what did you hear me say? Was that clear? Surveys, open-ended feedback. Sometimes it's sort of like, a one-on-one meeting and those types of things. You want to make sure that you really are understanding one another correctly and getting that feedback. One thing to keep in mind, the clearer the instructions, the clearer the results. I've used the phrase before, keep it simple, stupid. So you don't want to overcomplicate something. You want to keep everything very clear. Next, faster response times. One thing that you can look to do as a best practice, if you've set that expectation to get back to a client or a customer within 24 or 48 hours, you want to make sure that you're keeping that consistent. But a way to measure your success is say, I want to improve the rate in which I communicate with my customers on a regular basis. So maybe you didn't have the bandwidth when you first started. It took you 48, 72 hours to get back to somebody. And then you're going to try to make sure it's now within 24 hours. So that's another tool that you can measure success. Better project delivery. That's another way that you can set up that metric and compare A to A across time. And then, of course, positive feedback from teams. So things like surveys and informal feedback and getting others' opinions and talking about what you can do differently and lessons learned. Those are really, really important. So you need to interpret whether or not what you did was successful and specifically what was and what wasn't successful. So you take that feedback, you incorporate it, and you get better each time you move on.
I'm going to add something on the feedback. Don't be scared of feedback. I get it every day from my boss. Every single day I get feedback. Don't be afraid of it. So even when it feels heavy or even feels negative in some ways, it is because they have a high expectation of you and they know you can meet it. If they didn't care about you, they wouldn't be giving you that feedback. They are giving you the feedback because they care about your well-being and your success. So don't be afraid of it. Also, don't be afraid to share it back. And don't be afraid to share positive too. I know Liz covered that, but that goes a long way too. Complimenting someone on something they have done well also is feedback. Balance it with the feedback of things that people need to hear. Okay, so don't be afraid of feedback. Ask for it, be hungry for it, because it will be the only way that you can improve being a student, being an entrepreneur. Okay. All right. So we have some discussion and activity. How much time do we have left? Does anybody know? I'm on it. I think this went till 11, right?
We have 10 more minutes. Okay.
10 minutes. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we just want to have a discussion with you all. Q&A, but we also have some prompts too, in case we don't get any questions. But we want you to kind of think about, hey, what tools do you use? What's working? What's currently not working? If you all have some best practices that you can share with this group, we would love to hear them to say, hey, this works really well for me, right? Or I really struggle with this. What do you all use? This is that knowledge sharing that Liz talked about when she talked about it in your business.
Particularly from the entrepreneurs, if we can hear maybe what you've started to use and what you think has been useful so far.
I told you all that I pick on people randomly. They'll tell you. I was here 2 years ago. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, good morning. My name is Margaret, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm into production of plantain chips. So, the tools I use social media, like I use Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So, what I do is when I post ads on Facebook, I kind of linked it to WhatsApp. So when someone wants to find out, they come to my WhatsApp. So what I did recently was I went through my contacts on WhatsApp and I kind of saved the persons who has asked me about my business as a potential customer added to their names. So I have a list of persons like that on my contacts. So what I did recently was I picked all of those numbers and I created a broadcast from those people. So whenever I have a new product, I just send them a message there and everybody gets the message. So that's the tools I'm currently using.
Yeah. Can I ask, what kind of feedback have you gotten on that? Is it generally positive? Do people respond to that?
Okay. I'm actually working on my recipe because I also make chin chin. So sometimes I've gotten a good feedback, like it's nice. Then some other times, some were like it's too sweet. So I
Mm.
reduce the sugar content in it. And I just told them that I'll work on it and I'll improve on it. And it has been working fine for me.
What other questions do you all have?
If I can add to that comment, I just want to say, well done. That's really awesome. I love that. One other thing that you might could look into as well, since you're already gathering everybody's information, if you also gather email addresses, you can create an email list distribution, an e-blast, and you can use tools like MailChimp or Constant Contact. And those sometimes they're even free, or if not, they're actually pretty reasonably priced. But you can make sure that that's another touch point and another platform that you can reach. But I think you're doing the right thing. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. All good.
Hi, good morning. So, my name is Kulisas. So I play saxophone, just like my name. So, the one of the tools I use for my business is like formal announcements. So, like as like someone that plays sax now, you hear us like we always attach the type of instrument we play to our name. Like my name is like Kudisas now. And when I tell people that I introduce myself as Kudisas, they know that I play saxophone. Maybe we have like birthday surprise or an event. I might get invited just because of my name. And another thing is telling people around my friends, classmates, everybody that this is what I can do and this is what I do. And most times I get contracts, which
Hmm.
has been really it.
Yeah. Awesome. What other questions do you have for us? Yeah. And y'all can really ask us anything.
Thank you. So this is not a question. My name is Destiny. I am the project officer. I also serve as the scholarship coordinator at True Identity. So thank you. So it's not a question. I just want to share. I know before I started working, I had like a little challenge communicating through emails and working with Google's Workspace. So since I started working with my organization, I'm now very conversant with the tools on Google Suits. I communicate better, and I all the time I get feedback from my boss. I ask her, what do you think I can do better? And with that, my communication has it has increased and it's better. So myself, I hope to do better. But what I want to say to our youth here, the more you use this tool, the more you get better at it. So continue to explore on these tools, continue to get better, and continue to get feedback. So that's what I want to share. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Andrew, founder.
No, I mean, they're mostly sitting here, but we have a lot of students in this group. And I think that just just a question around as they think about the future and about work, what's are some tools that you think they should start learning how to? I like what Destiny talked about, right? Like just basic email communications. And I think that there's such a need for students not to be so immersed in just doing homework, but finding ways that they can incorporate using these tools because employers are going to expect them to be able to communicate using Google Suits or working in softwares, right? And those things are not things that they're really privy to right now. But I think that's what A2S is trying to do to make sure they are exposed to these tools and they start using them now so that they're proficient in them by the time they're coming out of school and not learning out, after graduating from the university, but knowing how to use them and use them well now to make them attractive to potential employers or to grow their businesses if they go into entrepreneurship. So I thought that might be helpful for the scholars.
Yes, thank you. There are a lot of things that you can be working on and thinking through. I think your generation is already well versed in social media and sort of that fast and that really creative type of communication. But what I've noticed from the new generation is that maybe they don't know how to produce a formal professional email. That's something to work on to make sure that your language is really polished and professional and meets the right environment. Another thing to make sure that you are really well for tools like Zoom and Google Meet, that you feel confident speaking in front of the camera and engaging using those body language cues in a video platform. So that's something that's really, really important. There's a couple other thinking about. I know right now at A2S, Andrew has charged us with learning AI. So coming up with the appropriate ways to uh, interact with AI. So that's going to be something that more than likely employers are looking for a knowledge base around that, how to use it ethically, how to be proficient in sort of the basics of AI, know some of the tools. If you graduate having a little bit of a foundation in that, I think that's something that would be very attractive to potential employers. What about you, Lauren?
So my mind immediately went when Andrew had this question was more to, I guess I'll call it like the soft skills of it. So I think Liz kind of covered like the hard skills, but for me, I think about, okay, if you are out looking for a job or even if you're out building a business, do some mock interviews, right? Like set up some mock interviews with a peer of yours, something like that. Yes, I get it feels a little awkward, especially if it's someone you know, but prepare yourself for feeling that experience of being in an interview. I promise you the practice helps. I guess the second thing that I thought about, and it was a little bit kind of when Liz was talking, was be curious. A lot of these tools you can get a free version of, right? So I don't want you to feel inhibited by any cost because a lot of these do have free versions of them. Be curious. go out there and like play with it, right? Whether when you're here and if you have free time here, or if you're at the hub, if you're an entrepreneur, just go out there and explore it. That's how I have to learn something. I have to be so hands on to learn something. So just be curious in that. And then I guess third, and it really, I think, leans towards the students in this, especially as you want to enter the workplace or enter university, is get yourself a mentor. Get yourself a mentor that can help you prepare for these life experiences and how to communicate and how to represent yourself out there in kind of that business world and that professional world there. Okay. So I kind of thought about those as you were walking through it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I would say, in addition to the mentorship, is really learning how to network.
Yes.
Yeah. So expanding your network and being willing to put yourself out there to make
Yeah.
those connections. That's sometimes a skill that I see that younger people may be a little bit more hesitant to do. Because we kind of grew up without all these online tools. And so that was the way that we got jobs.
Yep.
And that's sort of a skill that's kind of has gone a little bit by the wayside, but it's a skill that you still need. And particularly when the economy is in sort of a bad spot, you need to make those personal connections to make sure that you're still relevant and you get a shot at an interview that can make a big difference.
Yep. Question?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Perfect. So I feel we've covered pretty much on how to communicate, but I would like you should shed more light on what to communicate. For example, be it personal branding or an entrepreneur on your business content or just reporting, especially let's say for personal branding, let's say for me, I'm the type that attends a lot of formal events and I do see people get back and okay, today at so and so, I went for so and so, and that reporting back on your social media handles and all of that. I would like you to shed more on what should be the content be of that post or something like that.
So I know we're at time. They've told us we have to end. So my ask is, can you come find Liz and I after, I guess it's after the second session or after they do the wrap up?
Yeah,
And
anytime.
I will answer that question because I do have some thoughts and I'm sure Liz does too
Yeah,
on it.
thank you. I
But
think
we
that's a
will
really good
answer
question.
it.
Thank
Just
you.
come find us. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We just move into the next group, right? That's Thank you very much. Hi. Very cool. Let me take this off.
All right, can we give them a round of applause? How's our sessions over there? I just need someone to just tell me what the lens from their studio. Like maybe you're coming from either the cook studio or the cafeteria. Just one person. Okay, sir.
Okay. Good body. And about technology, how to apply technology. Technology is a tool, is a means like a tool you use in making life easier, simpler. Then we talked about technology, talk about automation, AI, collaboration, and automation. So that's what we spoke about. That's what was taught. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause. I need one other person. That was from the cook studio, right? No, cafeteria. Who is from the cook studio? Who is from the cook studio? Oh, they're not here. Oh, all right. So that means you have to wait for them. Okay. Someone from the hall. Oh, okay. What's your name?
And then about communication. And then that
communication isn't about how you say it, it's about how the receiver interprets it. And how to be a good communicator, we must always research and find things, and we must always think out of the box.
Oh, we all heard what she said, right? Let's give her a round of applause once again. Guys, all right, let's give a round of applause for facilitators here in the hall. They've done a good job. Don't mind me. All right, so we're going to have discussion in the next. We are just waiting for the people coming from Cook Studio to join us. And Dave, right? So please, if you are here, okay, Miss Liz, you are here. Please can you come up stage? Give Mr. Dave better. Guess we have to wait for Miss Megan, right? Yeah. Them. I want from the cafeteria to tell me the name of one of the facilitator assigned to them. You must tell. Oh, we have someone at the bar. Please come. Okay. From the I want full name and me what. Don't worry. Wow. The other, the
Mrs. Lauren Gray.
wow, that's good. One from the cafeteria.
Wait, Mr. David Fetzer. Mr. David Fetzer. Okay, and is a data analyst who uses automation.
Is that true? Because I'm about to have a like. No dojoro for me. I'll not give you my sweet though. All right, thank. So we are still waiting for them. So that means engage, right? So from someone from the cafeteria, talked the car telling you about AI, automation, whatever it is. I don't, I don't understand. Tell me, you think you will make knowledge you gained from that class? I they all from cafeteria, right? It's all from the cafeteria. Tell me, what are you going to what you got that Carl's class, right? Wait, tell me. You want to tell me, sir? You know you've spoken before. I want someone else. What? Okay, let me give it to you. So that means I'm giving you two sweets.
That would be nice. Okay. For the like automation as the it's it operation, the application has be like, for example, maybe you're doing something, maybe like could be graphic or something. In the, you now take it to the software. Now, we now, how will I put it? Have a-
Good stuff. For the guys that learned about communication, are you guys here? You people must time you. I tell you. So I want someone to tell me what they are going to do. But Lizzie told them this morning. Do you have anyone in the hall? I know you asked the question, but I saw you. Okay, thank you.
Communication. Okay. He said li-
It's you.
average. Then we should mind our tone, our body language. We should smile with purpose. That's what I
Did you get that? We should all smile with purpose. So in case you want to communicate to someone, you just smile. My purpose is for you to sign that document. That's a sign of communication. Do you have anyone that wants to volunteer? What you are going to do? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I said something earlier. I'm still very big on feedback. If you're given a task, you're given something to do. At the end of the day, it's good that you ask for feedback because it will help you grow and do better. So it's important that whatever that is given to you for better communication, for better results, when you're given something to do, ask for feedback so you can do it better the next time. So thank you.
Let's clap for her. Ma, you see, your students, they are doing well. Yeah, they learned a lot. Oh, you have something to say? Wow, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Still on that feedback. She said something that we should not be scared of feedback, be it negative or positive. Be ready to accept it. And also work on what they have said on the feedback and accept it and take change.
Wow, that's a lot. Please, let's give them a round of applause. All right, so our beautiful guy. Sorry. The guys are waiting for her here. Or should we take her? Is there time? Okay, let's take your feedback so that these people will know that we've been learning a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Liz. What I'm taking back home is one, good communication requires repetition. You know, sometimes posting online daily and no response, it's very discouraging. So it's like an energy for me to keep up and don't stop. Then also documents. That's one I'll also work on to keep documenting all the things I'm doing. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. All right. You're all welcome from Took Studio. I'm sure it was a great experience over there. Please, even though you're just coming from Cook Studio, kindly wave your hand. Let's see your hands. You're all welcome. Thank you. You're welcome, Miss Megan. We've been waiting for you. All right, all right. You're welcome. Please have a seat. So now we'll go to. Is it the three of them? Yeah. All right, we'll have to start our panel session now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, sorry? No, it's fine. It's fine. Good afternoon. Morning. We are still in the morning hours, thankfully. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this panel session with these beautiful and amazing minds. Please, I need to take a breather. I just ran in my heels up the stairs. Thank you. Okay. The I know my co-facilitator have introduced them. So I'll just go right into asking the questions. So we didn't get to introduce Mrs. Megan and Mr. Jason. Oh, you didn't have to remind me. I knew it, it was somewhere in my head. Okay, Mr. Dave, the first question will be directed to you. Um, so from your experience, how has digital communication influenced revenue, and how did it drive strategies and client partnerships?
For the question. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? There we go. Uh, yeah, so how has digital communication influenced revenue driving strategies? I think if I were to summarize it, in one way, it has shortened the sales cycle. Okay. So by that I mean think about well, you might not think about it. In the past, to send a message to someone um, who was in another country that you're doing business with, sometimes that response time would take a really long time to get. Even in the early days of email, that would sometimes take a long time to get. With the amount of digital communication tools that we have at our, at our fingertips, that response time becomes significantly quicker. I think also the world of automation, which we talked about downstairs during our session this morning, has absolutely played a key role in shortening that sales cycle. So, for example, if I am doing a lot of sales outreach, which Manuel and I talked about actually this morning, and a challenge that he's facing right now with that is you have ability now to, as opposed to sending your own unique email to every single person you want to reach out to, you can automate that list and automate the message that you want to send. So that significantly reduces that amount of time and improves your revenue driving strategy. So those are just a couple quick ways. There is 1,000 more, but just a couple ways that I see how that plays out.
All right, thank you, Mr. David. So this question is directed at is directed to you, ma'am, Miss Megan. How can employees and employers how can they navigate issues concerning data privacy, and ownership of digital work and proper use of company assets online?
Can we take that? Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
take that if
All
that's
right,
okay.
no problem.
Uh, well, thank you for the question. It's a good one, and it's multifaceted.
Mm.
Uh, we just got done talking in an intellectual property session about the person who puts pen to paper owns the copyright rights in what they create. And so the normal rule is that if you create an artistic expression, a novel, a short story, a blog, a website, that's yours because you created it. However, that's not the same in two situations primarily. One situation is that you work as an employee for a company and you're acting within your scope of employment. Well, then it's the company that owns your creation because you're doing that on company time. And so the company is paying you a salary to work for the company, and your job is to create the website or create the marketing materials. That's the company's intellectual property. They own that.
Okay.
Another situation is when there is a work for hire agreement in place. So typically, the person standing behind the camera owns the intellectual property rights to the photos that are created. However, if you are the person buying the photos, you might want to engage in a contract with the photographer that says, I'm switching the rights. So I'm paying the photographer a fee to take pictures of my event or my wedding, and for that fee, I want to make sure I own my own photos that they're taking for me. And so, in the digital marketplace, when you're in a company situation, the company wants to make sure that it owns the rights to the materials that are created for the company. But if you are the company, if you own the business, you want to make sure that the rights are yours because of the people that you hire that are creating things for you. Those belong to you as the company owner. So that's a matter of contract that you can agree upon.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I know we've heard to have ownership of your ideas. Sometimes your ideas are not your own. Sometimes. Okay, so this question is directed to anybody. Any of you can answer it. Like four of you. Either one of you can answer it. Um, what is one digital communication trend that you believe is either going and solving a big problem or creating a new challenge in your field? Okay, Liz has something.
Thank you for the question. I think probably one of the biggest things right now is AI. So it is solving, creating a lot of new problems. Can you hear me okay? Okay. All right. So first of all, in digital communication, it used to be that you're creating all of your language and your copy and your creative yourself. Now AI has the ability to create this for us, and like Dave mentioned with automation, so it like very drastically can reduce the amount of time to produce a lot of work. So that's solving some of the problems, and so that's really good, but it's creating some other issues. One potential problem would be some unemployment for the people. It's really taking some people out of the workplace. Another, in terms of just digital communications as well, um, there are things that AI can't do that maybe it's coming across as really um, unempathetic and very robotic, if you will. And so it's not really connecting in the appropriate way using empathy and sort of the soft skills that you have as a communicator. So those are some of the things to look out for. Yeah. Anybody else? Yep.
And we'll just say from the legal perspective, we just talked about copyright and ownership and pen to paper. And with AI, you're either infringing on someone else's hard work or who owns the work that's being created. So those are two other issues that come up with artificial intelligence.
Wow. Thank you. All right. To you, Miss Liz. What are some communication missteps you've observed in digital workspaces, and what tools or methods can help to correct or prevent them? Should I come again? Communication missteps. No, it's to miss. Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Communication missteps that you have observed in the digital workspaces, and what tools and methods can help to correct them. Do you get the question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So some of the missteps that I've seen is not having consistent messaging across all of your platforms. Perhaps you're using one channel to communicate a message and then another channel to communicate another one. You do have to tailor according to your platform, but your message should always be consistent. There should be key messaging. So you want to look out for inconsistent messaging. That can really be addressed sort of from the front end in terms of planning and making sure that you have a particular campaign and your key messages well developed. So that's a way that you could address that. Another issue that I see is just sort of like information overload. Sometimes we get so caught up in wanting to communicate that you're pushing out maybe too many messages at the same time. We talked about in the communication tools and techniques that Lauren and I did together that you really have to use the same message over and over multiple times in order for your audience to get it. and you want to keep things clear and concise. So I do sometimes see overcomplication, too many messages at the same time, and sort of an overwhelm effect. And then your message gets lost in sort of the chaos of all of that. So that's something that you need to look out for. Some of the AI tools do actually help with that. There are now tools that you can use to create your platforms and then sort of tailor them across all the different softwares that you're using so that you make sure that you keep things consistent and clear and concise across the different mediums that you're using. So there are ways to address it on that end as well. Does that help answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I'd love to want to add one thing to that too. In our law firm, Megan and I run a law firm together, and we have a policy for anything, almost anything that goes out the door. We have a 2 sets of eyes policy. If I write it and I've read it 3, 4, 5 times, I think it's perfect. But I need another set of eyes. I asked Megan, please review this letter to the judge. Please review this letter to opposing counsel or this brief before I file it and tell me if you see any mistakes. We want to have a consistent, high quality message from the firm and that we benefit from somebody else looking at our work product and giving us advice. And I'll tell you, if you put a comma in the wrong place in a sentence, sometimes it changes the entire meaning of the sentence.
Yeah.
And so our 2 sets of eyes policy helps us correct those errors and have a consistent message when we're expressing ourselves digitally or any other way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. 3 powerful points. 2 set of eye policy. One message across different platforms, and key and concise communication as against very extremely long. These are wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. My question again is directed to either of you. um, how should organizations handle ethical dilemmas such as misinformation, tone misinterpretation, or breach of online etiquette? How do we handle these things as organizations?
I think the first thing is to have clear and concise policies and procedures as to how you handle the communications to begin with. There's some limit on what you can do after an employee leaves, but I think that's the first step.
Having good contracts with your employees helps too. Sometimes we encourage our clients to engage in non-disclosure agreements with the employees when they start. And a non-disclosure agreement says you will not disclose to the public any of the following kinds of things: our secret processes, what makes our business work, our trade secrets, our intellectual property. Or after you leave, you have certain requirements on confidentiality that you can't go run your mouth off about how bad we are. So you have to obey certain rules of etiquette and politeness after you leave the company.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. This question is directed to you, Mr. David. What changes have you seen in team leadership and strategic planning now that much of the workforce operates in the virtual environment?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think there's a couple really positive things, and I think there's some challenges too. Number one, and I think about this. I think about it from a business perspective, but I guess I could think about it in other environments as well. Accessibility to people has increased dramatically, right? So, couple examples in the workspace. If I wanted to have a meeting with someone who was, say, a leader of a company at a different office, a different location, I would have to go to that person physically, drive, fly, whatever. Now I can schedule a meeting in 10 minutes and we can be face to face having that conversation. I think that's a really big thing. Accessibility just in terms of, so again, we've talked about this in our sessions this morning of shared workspaces. I can be working on a document at the exact same time you are working on a document, and we see what edits, what changes are taking place right then and there. It just allows for more efficient workload. I think there's a couple challenges though in this environment that I have personally experienced. I've been the offender of, unfortunately, or also other people that I'm a part of my meeting have done. Number one, when you are in a physical meeting in a room, it's a lot easier to set some clear boundaries. Okay. So boundaries of time. Hey, our meeting runs from this time and it ends at this time. That time's up, we get up and we leave. In the virtual world, that boundary of time gets blurred very, very easily and very quickly, and we're not respectful of people's time. And I think that's one of the important things that we've lost sight of in that. I think the other thing that is also a bit of a boundary issue is that when we're sitting here, we're face to face, right? If I am speaking and I'm trying to, convey an important message to you, or I need your engagement and your collaboration because I'm relying on your experience and expertise, and you're sitting there and your heads down, right? Typing on your phone, doing something else, you're completely distracted, right? And you're not paying attention, you're not engaged. That's a lot harder to do when we're in person because I see you, right? As opposed to when we're online and we're talking via virtual communication, you might turn your screen off. So I have no idea what you're doing. You could be dancing around your room. I have no idea, right? Or oftentimes you're on your phone, you're multitasking, and so you're not as engaged, and thus we're not having as productive a meeting as we really need to and as we should. So there's some really great positives. There's some challenges. We've got to find a way to balance both.
I think those challenges are quite common, and we experience that in our scholars' online meetings. See the guilty looks all over their faces. Okay, in as much as I would still love to pick your brains, we are far behind schedule. So unfortunately, we have to bring this session to a very early close, much to my very disappointment. Like I said, I still want to sit in and pick their brains. They have so much to share with us, but we have to bring the session to a close. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
participating in this session, Mrs. Elizabeth, Mr. Dave, Mrs. Megan, Mr. Jason. Thank you very much. It was nice doing business with you. Thanks, Sana.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause once again. Please, you can go back to sit.
Okay, please, can we halt for a second? So because of our technicalities, we would be having the technology session. So those persons that are supposed to go to room 2 would remain here. Those slated for room 1 would go to the creative cook, no, the cafeteria, and then those for room 3, you are to go to the creative cook studio. So please, let's do that as fast as we can. Okay, please, one more thing, please, one more thing. Many of us are distracted by our phones, so please would appreciate if you can turn it off because you are heavily distracted. So room 2 is here, room 1 is the cafeteria, and room 3 is the cook studio. Thank you.
Microphone.
Now it's working. Say something. Sam, let's take that.
Tech, test.
Also, yeah, you're good.
Okay. Are we ready to start? Is that everybody's in, everybody's found their seat, everybody's ready to go, right? Okay. So well, good, I guess technically still good morning. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Good morning. My name is Dave Betzer. This is Kyle Margrave. And we're going to spend a little bit of time this morning talking about technology. I know the title is technology and why it's important in the workplace, but this is really applicable to work, school, our personal lives, because I am willing to bet everybody in this room uses technology in some form or fashion, right? So before we get started, just by show of hands, who here is part of the A2S after school program?
Asa.
Asa? Yep. Okay. Okay, yeah, a few of you. Okay, who here is a scholar? All right. And who here is a part of the entrepreneur community? Okay, one, two. Yep. Okay, we got a few. We lose our slide. That's okay. We'll keep talking until our slides come back up. Part of technology is troubleshooting when things don't go the way you expect them to go. So we'll figure that out. Okay, so as we go through this, like I said, I think this will be hopefully very applicable to you, whether it's work, school, personal, or other. A couple things. Kyle and I like to talk, but I don't want to talk the whole time. Okay, so we want to make this a bit of a discussion. We're going to ask some questions and really encourage you all to participate because we want to hear from you. We also want to learn from you, and I want you all to learn from each other. Okay, I think that's a really important way that we can take more away from our time together. The other thing I would ask, I know I can sometimes talk fast. So if you need me to slow down so you can understand me, same with Kyle, just raise your hand and just ask us to slow down. We're happy to do that. Okay? So we'll get started here. So oops. Okay, I guess the answer is going to be there. So let's talk about technology. In your own words, disregard what's up on the slide. Maybe I'll get back here. In your own words, what is technology? Give me a few answers. What do you think technology is? Go ahead. Great. Application of devices, tools to make work faster, quicker. That's a great answer. By the way, there's really not a right or wrong answer here. So what else? Who else has a thought of what is technology? We need at least one more person. We're never going to leave this slide. Come on. One more person. Go ahead. Yeah. Let's see. Require precision and accuracy. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a great answer. Okay.
Very nice.
So what we're going to look at to kind of start this off is, technology in a very simple sense is a tool, right? It is a tool that we use to do certain things that we'll start talking about here as we dive to the next layer down. Okay. But those are fantastic answers. So different types of technologies that I'm sure you're used to. Like we listed a few things up here. Google Suite is a technology. Canva is a technology. Shopify is a technology. What are some other technologies that you all use today? Just shout out some examples. Did I hear a phone? Yeah. Pretty big technologies right here, right? There's a lot going on in our phone.
Yeah,
What else?
no, not Glory. With the beard.
Laptop.
He was working at the laptop.
Google Drive, right? Google Drive is great technology. What are some other technologies we use? How about on this side of the room? Okay, yeah, that's one. Okay, what else? Yes, back there again. Canva is another great one, right? Canva, your email, right? Your email. That microphone is a technology, right? Okay. So there's a lot of different types of technologies, certainly that are out there. Why is technology important? Why do we use it? Some of you already said a few things, but let's hear a little bit more. Why is technology important and why do we use it? Yeah. To make more research? Yeah, we use it for research, right? Go ahead. Simpler, easier, better time management. Great. Did you have one? Oh, he said it? Okay. So good. Like minds think alike, right? Anything else? Why is technology important? Did I hear communication? Thank you. Great. Communication. Right? Technology, and I'm going to wrap this up in a quick summary of everything that you all said, right? Technology allows us or helps us be more efficient, okay? It'd be more collaborative, right? We were just talking about that in the panel, collaboration and technology. We talked a lot about that, okay? Allows us to be more productive, okay? That means get things done easier, quicker, better, more innovative, and secure. Okay, technology allows us to secure things as well for ourselves. So I think we can all agree. Raise a hand. Do you use technology today? Every one of us, right? So technology isn't some nice to have, right? This is part of the backbone of what we do every day. Again, personally, professionally, in school, it doesn't matter. And interestingly enough, what we find from a business perspective is that companies that really invest in technology tools, okay, can see productivity increase 20-25%. Now, I say that you have to use the right tools and you need to use them wisely, okay? Because we can very quickly use all sorts of stuff, but don't actually know how to use them. That's not very productive use of our time. So we need to use the right tools and use them wisely, okay? So in a nutshell, what we're going to really dive into, and I'm going to hand the microphone over to Kyle here in a moment, is we're going to focus on how does technology help you be more efficient? Okay, I think the answers in some form or fashion that we heard from you today, this morning, and from the group earlier this morning was really about how do we use technology to make things simpler, right? Faster, easier to use, more productive, right? That kind of boils down to efficiency, okay? And when we do things efficiently or use things that help us be more efficient, we save time. Okay, we save our own time, we save other people's time, we save money, okay, and we drive growth. And that growth could be for our business if we are an entrepreneur. It can also be for our personal growth, okay? Growth of learning something we're looking in school. Growth because of research, right? Like all of those things, it helps us. We're more efficient. It will help us do those things. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Kyle, and he's going to walk us through kind of the 3 tenets. And by the way, there's a lot more, but we only have 30 minutes. So we're going to focus on 3 things today that we think will help you, that you can take away and be more efficient with these 3 technology tools.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you all for being here this morning. It's great to see you. As Dave said, we're really focusing on technology leading to efficiency versus some of the other problems that technology can solve for us. We're, like Dave said, we're focusing on efficiency. How many folks in the room have heard of artificial intelligence, AI, the abbreviation? Seems like pretty much everybody. How many people have used it? Beautiful. So let's talk a little bit more about artificial intelligence. Quick definition: it's using machine learning and data analysis to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So AI at the highest level is applications, tools that have been programmed to kind of look at giant sets of data, mainly the entire internet, similar to kind of what Google search or other search engines have done before, where you type in a question or a topic and Google would give you result number 1 at the top of page 1. And as you scroll down that page, each one of those websites would be a little bit less relevant to your search. Well, AI has taken that to a whole nother level, where they are looking at giant data sets of information, like the internet, and the terminology for that is large language model. Some LML is the abbreviation, but that's one form of artificial intelligence, like what Google does, where it kind of scours the internet for what website is most relevant. AI is scouring the entire internet, or whatever has been kind of loaded into that large language model, and kind of organizing it and giving it the response that AI robot, that AI agent, whatever type of artificial intelligence that we're talking about, whatever's been programmed into that, it will kind of return or give you back a response that it feels like is the best response for whatever query you built into the artificial intelligence. And for the folks of you guys are already using it, maybe it's ChatGPT, Jasper. There's 1,000. There's a new one every day, it seems like. But if you're already using it, you kind of know that when you first use it, you may not be as efficient, but kind of as you continue to use it, and that's a theme of today's presentation. Just because you don't know it today doesn't mean that you can't learn it tomorrow. And kind of as you learn these technology skills, they tend to build upon one another. And I think AI is going to be a huge use case for just that, where if if you learn a little bit of AI skills today, as you continue to practice them, they can become more and more useful. To ask the question here, how can AI boost efficiency? We're talking about reducing errors and speeding up content creation, enhancing customer service. I mean, just a couple of examples of how AI is already being used in my workplace today. As far as reducing errors and kind of trying to eliminate human error from work, AI has been using that a little bit. I'll save that for kind of the next section a little bit more. But even like enhancing customer service, seems like every time that I log into a business that I've purchased something from and I've logged into their website, it seems like they have a chatbot agent that may pop up on the web page and say, how can I help you? But I'm not talking to a human being. I'm talking to a artificial intelligence agent, a robot that they've programmed to, if I say I need help with I just ordered something a week ago, can you tell me when it's going to be delivered? And they have programmed that agent, that artificial intelligence, to kind of be able to go into their data systems and pull out they know that they're talking to me because I gave them my order number, and the automation and the artificial intelligence is programmed to get that information very quickly, as opposed to having to draft an email and send it to customer service at so and so company, and then wait for a human to manually go and look up my order information, log into a different tool. Maybe it's the mail post office mail carrier tool. They got to look up my tracking number for my package, and artificial intelligence makes it possible to, I say automate, but take out the human interaction, depending on what I question, and maybe somebody else has a completely different question, and the customer service piece, the artificial intelligence is programmed to know if I'm talking about my order and they're talking about when is a new product going to be available. It's not going to answer. It answers those questions completely differently based on what the user puts in. Any questions on artificial intelligence? I do have a quote here from the chief executive officer of Microsoft. The purpose of AI is not to replace humans, but to augment their abilities. So back to the theme of this presentation overall, AI is meant to drive efficiency, not replace humans, but augment their abilities. Still do things that humans can do, but do it in a much more timely and efficient manner. Kind of the second tenet or theme category of this presentation, we wanted to talk to you about automation and how automation is being used as a technology to drive efficiency. So automation has a little bit of overlap with artificial intelligence, but I think it can be something a little bit different on its own. Not all automation is artificial intelligence, and not all artificial intelligence is automation. But definition here, using software to complete repetitive tasks with minimal human input. Kind of how it improves. I'll mention reducing human error. In my work, we do a lot of data analysis, taking large sets of data, numbers, and technology information that comes from a lot of different sources, different tools, different applications, and it's our team's job to organize that information into a meaningful report that gives us a kind of a meaningful direction for what do we need to do because of that report, or what do we need to do because of that data. And when we're talking about large spreadsheets of information that need to be manually manipulated, where I take some information from spreadsheet 1 and some information from spreadsheet 2, and I do that to 10 different spreadsheets, that introduces me doing that manually introduces the probability of human error. And if I did it this way this month, and next month I do it a different way, well, then the results from 1 month to the next month may not be the same because of human error. And so when we're talking about repetitive tasks that need to be done in the business and in school and in your personal life, reducing human error through automation can one, speed up efficiency, speed up the amount of time. Something that takes hours to get done, days to get done, through automation can be done in a matter of minutes or even seconds. But it also can take out the human error from the equation. One kind of a piece of advice, and what I've seen and kind of what has worked for our team and in my business, is when you do use automation and you're replacing a manual task, you need to make sure through testing that the output of the automation is identical to the way you did it manually. Does that make sense? So if I have some process that that I'm doing for my business, and I'm doing it manually, so without automation, when I build the automation and I want to make sure that the way that the automation builds the report is the same way that the human built the report. Does that make any more sense? Okay. So that's when I say that through testing. So I can't just turn on the automation and know that the automation is going to do it correctly. I have to verify. One thing Dave and I have mentioned to each other in the past, you can trust the technology, but you still have to verify that the technology is doing what you want it to do. So shorten that to trust, but verify. Some other kind of examples: streamlining tasks, saving time really, and then allows for focus on innovation. Any questions on the automation before we move on to the next kind of larger topic of around efficiency? Yeah, really what automation can, if you take away anything from automation, it's about letting the technology do the repetitive work, the stuff that you have to do every week or every month. Let the technology take care of the hard part, and like it says, that allows you to focus on new customers or new innovations or new products that are really time consuming, that the automation cannot do that part. But by saving the time for the stuff that the automation can do, you have more time for kind of the stuff of innovation. And so I think that's really, really exciting. Kind of the last kind of tool or kind of category that we'll talk about is collaboration and collaboration tools. It kind of was talked about in the panel discussion a little bit, but collaborations are applications or platforms, collaboration tools that support real-time communication project tracking and shared workspaces. The Google Suite and Microsoft Office Suite are really good examples of shared workplaces where if you're working on a document or content in one city and you are working with a business partner in another city or location, that you guys can work on that content simultaneously. And one example of something that happens in my workplace, kind of in the old way before we had some of these collaboration tools, was if I was making all of my content or documents in one version and somebody else was doing theirs in a separate version, a separate document, when we go to merge them together, they may not line up because I didn't know what that other person, what kind of work or document or spreadsheet or whatever they were working on, it didn't line up. So through collaboration tools like Google Doc and Google Sheets, anything like that, that becomes instantaneous. When I make a change, they can see it right away. When they make a change, I can see it right away, and it takes away that possibility of kind of overlapping or inconsistency in the work output. Some other collaboration that we're talking about here: virtual communication. I think that was mentioned in the workplace in the chat earlier. But a phone call where you have to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, that's kind of the old way, and it is effective for short communications. But if you're really trying to work and deliver an output of technology, it's great to be able to see somebody face to face. And so virtual communication tools really make that a possibility. You can see what's on their computer and they can see what's on yours, and you can see them and really get the communication it just goes up a level. So there's certain things that you can express and communicate through digital and virtual communication that a phone call is you can only hear the words of their voice, but not everything else that you may need to see with it. Any questions on collaboration? Do you guys anything we're missing on the collaboration piece? No. One way of collaboration that you have a couple of examples of how it improves efficiency, cutting down on email threads, stuff that can be communicated real time, doesn't make it so you have to send an email and then wait a day or a week for the email reply to come back. That was talked a little bit about earlier. Just like kind of the whole theme here is let the technology make you more efficient. Let the technology save you time, and if you guys take anything out of this presentation, technology is a tool for efficiency. We do want to talk a little bit about sometimes there are obstacles to adapting technology. So we talked a lot about there are new technologies every day, and there may be technologies that you know really well or somebody else knows really well, and I just want to encourage all of you to be open-minded to learning a little bit about a new technology that you know, a lot of times in my work environment, people are resistant to changing because they know one way to do things. That be open to a new way to do things, a new way to use technology to do something, and learn from each other that uh, if you know a little bit about a certain technology and somebody else knows a little bit about a certain technology, uh, kind of share that information, trade that information, and there's always somebody else, especially in my life, in my workplace. There's always somebody else that knows a little bit more about the technology than I do. So just asking the questions and trying to learn from somebody that knows a little bit more. That's been very helpful and kind of solves that uh, training piece and that resistance to change piece. But hope there is a way.
All right, thanks, Kyle. So, yeah, so we've gone through a lot of detail and a lot of different things Kyle has just shared in terms of how we make the use of technology. Again, reminder, technology is a tool, right? A tool to help us improve and be more efficient in the things that we're trying to do. Okay. So I don't know about you. I'm going to ask, for me personally, technology, right? And everything that's going on with technology, I feel like every day I wake up, there's something new around technology that I don't know and I feel like I need to learn. Like, it's overwhelming. Does anybody else feel that way? Technology can be like really overwhelming. We're like, I'm trying to learn this yesterday and there's something new tomorrow. Like, how do I even catch up? How do I keep up? And that's okay because you're not alone. And I am in that same position. Kyle's in that same position. We kind of all are, right? So the important thing to take away is don't be overwhelmed by it. Okay. The encouragement is we just want to start today. Start with something, anything, quite frankly, which will end here in the next 2 minutes. But there is a lot for you to be able to take advantage of that we want to talk about. So even though technology can be overwhelming, there's resistance to learning, there might be different barriers out there. There's a lot of ways, there's a lot of solutions to overcome those types of barriers. So first one I'll talk about, especially if you're part of ASSA or the scholars, right? Right through that room, through the library, is the Color Lab, the ICT, that you can take advantage of and get hands-on training, have access to obviously laptop resources. If you're in the entrepreneur community, you have access to the hub, laptop, Wi-Fi. There's a library of books in the hub, right? There's so many things just right here that Access to Success provides you full open access to start learning, right? So you have resources right here. If you realize that or not, there's a lot of resources right here. We encourage you to take advantage of it. Get that hands-on experience. You can get that hands-on experience right here in this building, hands-on experience at the hub. There's other places. Find a mentor, okay? If you're a scholar or if you're a business, it doesn't matter. If you are interested in a certain area or learning something, Kyle mentioned his workplace, right? There are a lot of people. Kyle is really smart, by the way, and there's smarter people than him, believe it or not, that he will go to and get help from. Okay. We all need to do that. We all need to be willing to ask for feedback, ask for help. That's what Liz actually talked about in the panel or in their presentation on communication, asking for feedback, asking for help. So we encourage you to do that. Who here has ever watched anything on YouTube? Probably everybody, right? YouTube has a vast library of resources to find the things that you're learning about. If you're trying to use Excel, Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, there's probably over 1 billion videos out there of how to do pretty much anything with those tools alone. Okay. So encourage you, figure out what it is that you're trying to learn, and then you can go out and find it. So just to kind of wrap this up, again, technology, it is a tool, okay? A tool that we can use to be more productive, more efficient, more collaborative. It helps us be secure, all of those good things, but it is a tool. And just to summarize it back down to here. Yep, I was going the right way. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you, Heath. Is we can be more efficient using any one of these, okay? Again, encourage you, don't be overwhelmed by these things, okay? AI seems really big and really like, I don't understand that. Over half this room, raise your hand, said they've used ChatGPT. You have used AI, okay? Now, what you can do is use these things, these tools, these resources, okay, to start learning how to use it more efficiently, how to use it better. Okay, that's the takeaway. Okay, same with automation and same with collaboration. Okay, you had a question. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for the
Yeah. That's a great question. So the question was for AI, how dependent can we be on AI? Okay. I'm going to give you my answer. Look, AI, chat, let's just say ChatGPT. We'll focus on that. That is a great resource. Full honesty, when we were building out these presentations, I used ChatGPT just to see, hey, what is this going to come up with? What are some thoughts and ideas? Maybe there's some things I'm not thinking about. But AI, ChatGPT, it is a tool. It is not to replace me. Okay? I have my thoughts. I have my experiences, right? ChatGPT can't replicate my experiences. Okay? When we're thinking about original thought, okay, ChatGPT can't give you your original thought because it's not you. Okay, and it's not you. It's not you, right? So be very use it as a tool, and as I said at the beginning, use it wisely. Okay, don't take it and just replace your own thoughts, your own ideas, your experiences. Just use it to support. Okay. I use it as a kind of a starter to like build out maybe a framework or an outline, and then I fill my detail. Okay. Or I might have a thought and I'll say, hey, am I missing something? And I'll put, a prompt in and then it will tell me, hey, there might be a really, key point that I maybe forgot or missed. I use it in that way. But it's dependent up to a point. Don't replace it is my encouragement. Okay. Okay. So we're wrapping up here. Here's our last call to action for you all. And we've already said it is, when it comes to technology, you come to learning, please don't be overwhelmed. Okay. You don't need to be overwhelmed because we're all in the exact same boat as we're learning this as we go. Just do something. Okay. Don't wait for tomorrow to try to figure it out because come tomorrow, there's going to be 1,000 new things to learn. So don't worry about that. Focus on what can I learn today. Okay. Find help, whether that's through different resources, mentor, practicing on your own, and just start. Pick one thing to start learning. Pick one new automation. Do one new collaborative task. It doesn't matter. Okay. Just pick something, get started. And you will find if you do this on a consistent basis, right? Mr. Andrew this morning talked about consistency, doing things consistently. This is the same principle. Okay. Do these things consistently, and you will continue to improve. You continue to get better. You'll be more efficient. Okay. Yep, we got time for quick questions. Thank you, Hughes. Okay, so that's what we have. We thank you very much for your time, attention, and your participation. What other questions that you have before we wrap up? Yeah, go ahead.
So guys, when you what's the way about essential? What's it? The similar concepts looking over the thing. Should I similar to gets
Okay, so the question was, you're saying when you're using a search engine, it comes up with thousands and thousands of options to pick from. that can be overwhelming to search through and try to find the right one, right? You're asking how can we use like ChatGPT or AI to get a better, yeah, okay. I'll answer and then I don't know if you want to chime in. So I have found like with ChatGPT, I used to use ChatGPT just like I use Google search, okay? And it gave me very generic responses. There's a lot of ways that you can get more specific with ChatGPT. They're called prompts, okay? And you can search Google search prompts and to get really specific detail of exactly what you're looking for, who your audience may be, what points you want to convey. There's thousands and thousands of different ways to go about it. But the more specific you get with ChatGPT, the better response and answer you'll get. And then off of that initial response, you can kind of hone it in and refine it to even be more specific, and it will give you better responses. So again, it comes up with kind of what you're hoping and what you've been looking for. And the nice thing with ChatGPT, it's not like talking to a person. You can say, that's not what I want. And you can ask it a different question, and it's not going to hurt its feelings. So I don't know if you have.
No, I would say the refinement of the search of the query is really to Dave's. Just to reiterate what Dave said, just because it gave you the first answer doesn't mean that that's the most robust or most detailed answer. You can customize it so that it gives you additional details and until and you can keep doing that until it gives you to the level that you're looking for. And you can go from very little detail to a whole lot of detail, or vice versa. If it gives you too much at first and you need a summary, you can change the query to say, I need a summary of this. I don't need 1,000 websites. I need it summarized, and the artificial intelligence tool has that capability. But it's today's point. It's the iterative the iteration of that.
Yeah. ChatGPT is fun because you can play with it, right? You can ask it question after question and refine that to get to where you want it to deliver. So yeah, you get a chance to just play with it.
Yeah, are there resources out there that can help us with this expansion?
Say that one more time.
Are there resources out there that can help us with this expansion?
Yeah, resources out there. Yeah, I mean, you can again. I know we put up YouTube. YouTube. I would search, best ChatGPT prompts, and just learn it that way. I mean, those honestly, I use Google because I want to get better at asking AI questions to get better results, and that's what it is. So you can people that put together, you know, 20, 30 sentence prompts that you can put in and deliver very specific responses, which is kind of cool to see. You can use a general search engine, YouTube, and ask for best, ChatGPT prompts, questions, whatever, and it will give you thousands of different ones. And you just again, don't worry about finding the perfect one. Just start clicking on some and watch, research, put it into practice, and then you'll get better. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the training. I want to ask, there's room for critical thinking. Now, with this technology that we have, which is something that we consume, something we use. So as we are using it, there's this deterioration of critical thinking and the authenticity of our own response. So my question is, how do we use these tools and still retain the authenticity of our response and the informations that are genuine and human structure like? I don't know if you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think you don't want it to replace the authenticity. That needs to only that can only come from you in your own mind. Um, but instead of you can use the technology to save the time, and having a outline, uh, having a summary, the technology, like I think Dave said, he uses it for that to if he wants to give a presentation on a certain topic, you may know four really good key areas on that topic, but maybe there's a fifth area that you don't know a lot about that needs to be the kind of you can use the technology to kind of, am I forgetting any key topic, and it can give you maybe something you weren't thinking about already, and then you have a more complete presentation on whatever that is. Uh, it's not to replace the human being. It's to, I think there was a quote on this one of the slides, to augment um, already the human.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we shared it a little bit in the panel. I'm actually going to talk about it tomorrow a little bit. It's not a replacement. Okay, it's a support. Again, I keep reiterating this. Like, it's a tool that we use to help improve the things that we're thinking or saying. Okay. But yeah, critical thinking is very important, and you don't want to lose that. Okay, because that's you. That's unique to you, and not to anybody else, and certainly not to artificial intelligence. I just read a quick study, actually while I've been on this trip, that showed like they took scans of people's brains of using ChatGPT to build, a presentation as an example, versus people who did it on their own. And when your scan, your brain lights up with different colors when you're using for critical and creative thinking. And people who just use ChatGPT, it was like blank. And that's scary, actually, when you think about it. Like, so that goes back to your question of dependency, right? I really encourage, let's not be dependent on these tools, because we can very quickly become dependent because, oh, that answer sounds good, I'll just use that. Well, you know what? That's may not be the best answer, and it certainly might not be an answer true to you. So, just as you would challenge thinking, like challenge what Kyle and I are saying up here, right? And that's okay. Challenge what a machine is spitting back at you as well. That's absolutely appropriate. So that way it's authentic, it's you, and you believe it to be true, and you can stand behind that. So that's a really, really great question to ask, and I would keep asking that question. That's great. Okay, so I think we've got people coming back in. Can we do one more? Nobody says no, so go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Harry. Not a question, actually. I just want to contribute to AI, the topic concerning AI. The problem is, I remember back then when I was supporting my other brother writing a project. Those days we go to the Edo State lab to get more books to write. So what people don't really understand about AI is, or what I think is just a guide. So you get your information, it makes it more faster, efficient, and at the same time, it's just for you to go through it, pick what you are looking for, and leave the rest.
Yeah.
But the problem is this: they will just type whatever they want to type. But since it's AI that said this is the answer, so it's the answer. So they don't bother about verifying or whatever. So boiling down to our question is, you give your prompt, ask your question, then pick the necessary things you need. Then if you're not okay with it, give more questions until you get whatever you're looking for, then compare everything together and you get your stuff.
No, thank you. That's it.
Perfect.
You used the word, it's just a guide. And I agree with that. I think that's a great way to put it. It is a guide to use. Okay. So we've got everybody else coming back in. Thank you again so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Hopefully you
Hello? It's okay. It's not working. I'm told that this one is not working. Please, can you talk with me? Let's fix some. That's all I'm figuring out. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's fix it.
Okay, good to know.
You're welcome, everyone. I guess we all had a wonderful session at our different studios, right? Am I communicating to someone? So we are just going to wait for the other facilitators to join us, right? But for those of us here in Johnson Hall, did you enjoy our session with Mr. David and Mr. Kyle? We had a wonderful session with them. Please let's give them a round of applause. All right. So I noticed that you people have been asking them questions, but I want to throw questions at you, right? Are you ready? So I'm starting with the with Johnson. There was something Mr. Kyle mentioned. He talked about collaboration and he said we have collaboration tools, right? And he specifically mentioned like two of them that I heard when I was in the class. So I want someone to tell me the collaboration tools that Mr. Kyle talked about. Oh, there's someone over there.
It talks about visual communication and teamwork.
Okay, so he mentioned thank you, but he mentioned like a tool. Okay, like how should I use? Yeah. Okay. Was it one? Okay, you want to
Doc and
say one. All
spreadsheet.
right. What did you say?
Google Doc and spreadsheet.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. You want to try to? Okay. So as a scholar, I want you to tell me what collaboration tool do you think can help you to do better at work or in school with your academics? I want you guys to create a scenario that you can use a collaboration tool, to make your work easier. Yeah. You have so okay. We have someone over there. Please let's give her a round of applause. You're going to tell us your name, what you study, and the answer to the question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Omo, and I study radiography, 500 level at the University of Benin.
All right.
So for the question, I'll say for a scenario where we have a group assignment and you don't have to be present to like do the work. Like
Okay.
you don't have to do the work then
Physically.
physically.
Okay.
Yes. So a tool like Google Docs will be helpful. You can collaborate. They taught us in the previous
Okay. Session.
not this
This
time,
one.
the previous
Okay.
one, the first.
Okay.
Yes. So you can collaborate as you can. It's like a real time thing. You are typing and the person is seeing what you are doing. You can make corrections and tell this person, make comments on what you are doing. Oh, this should not be here. You can replace and delete things in real time without having to see the person physically.
Wow, that's a lot. Please, can we give her a round of applause? Thank you very much. So I'm going to direct this question to a business owner. How can you automate your processes with what you learned this morning? What do you think you have been doing manually? What do you think you've been doing manually and you think you can, pick one or two things to help you with your business? So now I'm throwing it at EEP members. Who's going to go for EEP? I know the face. I'm not going to call anyone. You want me to call your name?
Oh, Mr. Ima. Where is Mr. Ima? Mr. Ima, you want to talk?
Okay.
You can tell us your name and what you do, sir.
My name is Emmanuel. Um, um, I'm into real estate and I'm also into photography. So, like the application aspect you talked about, like you can apply it by, for example, by using ChatGPT, getting informations and you apply it. Then you can also use this what's it called? All this Google document, like Word, like Word documents. You can use it after typing. You can send it to your clients, and they can check on it. Not actually automatic. You cannot actually automate it like that, but you just do it and you can apply it. Just apply it. That's the knowledge you have. You apply it digitally. You apply it maybe through the internet. So your recipient or your client gets it and gets the information instead of going to meet the person. Digital has made the world easy now. So you can be communicating with somebody that is in America or someone that is in China or on that part of the world through your internet. So you just do it with your system. You apply it, that information that you want to pass to the person, then you send it and the person receive it. And you can do it like you can put it there as a way you can get maybe an app. Maybe if you want to send messages or maybe if you want to send emails to most of your clients, you can look for an app and maybe third-party app whereby you get these messages and put them after getting the message, maybe you type the message, you send it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Wow,
Thank
let's give
you.
him a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. I'm going to ask another question. It's actually for the people here before I direct it to the people coming from the cafeteria. There was something Mr. Dave said. Oh God, I've answered my question. Okay, so there was something Mr. Dave said. He said, "Don't be overwhelmed." Am I right? Did he say that? So he said there's a place where you can go to and you can learn how to use these different tools. Who can tell? I don't want you to answer. You're smiling already. Who can tell me the place you mentioned? You too. All right, a round of applause for everyone. Okay, so Mr. Dave, and I would like you to come forward because we want them to ask general questions and you can just answer. So if you have a question, please, you have a question for Mr. Dave and Mr. Kyle, please raise your hand up. Then we'll move to the other people. Please, if you have a question, kindly raise your hand. This is you can have it, sister. You have a question for them. Who wants to go first? So nobody wants to ask how to turn. If in case you want to speak with Mr. Dave on LinkedIn and you want to say, I ate about an ogbono soup yesterday. Nobody will ask them how to use ChatGPT to write that. I think those are the like simple question, nothing complicated. You can just ask them, how do I go about this? We want someone to start first. So if you have a question for them, kindly raise your hand. Or Sas, do you want to ask them questions? You're allowed to. Oh, you want to ask? Oh, please go ahead. Thank you.
Are you sure you don't want to ask us questions? Because we're going to ask hard questions.
Okay. My question goes like this. With the advent of technology, this ChatGPT that has come to stay, I want you to help us with how we can provide solution, because this ChatGPT, though it's a good invention, but I believe it makes people to be dull. They don't think anymore. You understand? So everything they want to do, they want to go to ChatGPT. They want to go to ChatGPT. They don't think on their own, because the natural faculty, this thing God gave to us, we no longer use it. The time you're supposed to think, most of the time you go, everything you want to do, you want to use ChatGPT. So I want you to help us with how we can make, though we need it, how we can improvise so we can still be using our brain instead of everything ChatGPT, ChatGPT. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. So this was we talked a lot about this at the very end of the last session. So it's a great question, a very important question for us to ask and to challenge. Okay, and the short answer, and I'm going to steal what some of you have said already, is let's look at ChatGPT and tools like that as a guide or as a tool. Okay, because that's really what it is. It's a tool. Okay. ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, it's not meant to replace our own critical or creative thinking, okay? Because it's not you, right? It's only you have your own unique, authentic thoughts, ideas that, quite frankly, you want, and the world wants to bring to life. And if we're just relying or becoming dependent on a machine to do that for us, guess what? We lose that authenticity. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're using AI ChatGPT to search for a question, build a presentation, come up with a way to automate sales outreach or marketing outreach. If we just become dependent on that, then we lose our and that's not what we want. So use it as a tool, use it as a guide. What did we say? We mentioned critical thinking. Challenge, just as you should challenge what other people may be saying, and not challenge in a defensive sort of way, but challenge the thought. Right? It's okay to ask questions and to challenge those thoughts. Same applies for a machine. Challenge what it is spitting back at you. Do I believe that? Is that what I understand to be true? And that will make you. I think that will help in the critical thinking aspect of it. Do you have anything to add, Scott?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So Marvin.
Okay.
All right. I picked another session, so I really wasn't around for that. But my question is kind of an opposite to his. Why he is asking for ways where people could still do their normal work and use AI. I am actually asking for ways where we could do less work and use more AI. So I'm kind of asking for, is there a place where you could easily go to check which AI tools you could use for certain tasks, be it scientific writing or a couple of other stuffs like that? Just a place to, I want an AI to do so and so, and it will just tell you this is the app to go for.
One of the things we covered in both sessions was the best thing, at least that we feel like, is give it a test, try it out, see how it works. As far as just a list of AI applications, the problem with that is there's new ones every day, and there's new good ones every day, and there's new bad ones every day. So just because something's new doesn't mean that it's better. But if you give it a test and you don't like the answer that it gives you or the reply that it gives you, the beautiful thing is you can ask it the question a little bit differently and kind of customize it each time you ask it, and the answer hopefully will be a little bit better each time you give it a new query. Yeah, as far as which ones do better for which to solve which problems, I'm not an expert on that. The kind of, because you weren't in the session that I want to just reiterate to everybody, the technology is simply a tool, and kind of the focus of our presentation was all about how can you use the technology to be efficient and be efficient with time. And I think that's why we kind of focused on the AI tools, that because they can do what does take a human a very long time to solve some problems, can be solved very quickly. But I think Dave mentioned it in the session. Because continue to try new technologies and see what works really well, and rely on the people around you that maybe know a little bit more about technology and that tool. Use your resources, like what you guys have here at the ICT lab, and what the
hub.
and at the hub,
Yeah.
the resources you have at the hub, those are great spots to start. Anything else?
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes, you can.
Yeah, please. Just want to add.
Okay, so I was gonna say I
You can
prompts really specific, very specific. Your prompts matter for the outcome that you want to drive from AI. And the only other thing I was gonna add is ask for them to cite the resource. So if it gives you an answer, ask for the citation. That's how you know if you're getting it from a credible source or an incredible source. And that matters a lot if you're going to lean on AI to do research, build something for you. You're going to want to know the source of that information for the citation as well.
All right. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. Do you have anyone? Sounds okay. Someone at the back, please. Yes. Please have your seat. You're not done. You have to come and join them.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I am Eosu Peter. I am a customer service trainer. I want to ask this question. If when you prompt the free chat GPT, which is actually a free tool, and what's the difference between the paid version and the free tool? Because I was on LinkedIn and a friend posted something. Immediately I said, okay, let me prompt this. When I prompted it, it generated the same thing my friend posted on LinkedIn. So I was like, wow, you mean it was too sudden, like I was expecting something so advanced, something so different, but it just prompted the same thing. So I want to ask now, is it if I subscribe to the paid version, is there a difference?
We're using the paid and the phone.
Just really quickly, I would say it all depends on the prompt. Is kind of where that starts. There's it wouldn't be a difference in what kind of large data set that the free version is looking at versus the paid version. But if there may be differences in how specific you can get with the prompt. But that's really that's really what's going to drive the difference in the outcome. How specific and detailed prompt is trying to get the answer. Do you use a paper? I mean,
So I was just going to add, so I use Perplexia, which is the Google version. It's called Perplexia. There's a free and a paid. The biggest difference that I'm aware of when I've used that is just the volume of searches and questions you can ask. So what these large language models, which is essentially what AI is pulling from, they're not going to necessarily produce a different answer for you because all that knowledge is the same. But what it is going to do is it's going to limit you in a free version with how many questions you can ask and how much exchange you can have like in a given week let's say. So you might not get as in depth of a response or outcome that you're looking for from it in a non paid version.
That's what I was going to say. It's just very
Laura was-
quickly is capacity and volume. And a really good example, a really easy one to understand is if you use ChatGPT to generate you ask it to create a logo, like a branding logo or an image, it will only generate, I think it's like 1 to 3 per day on the free version, whereas on the paid version, you kind of get like, that's the. Oh, sweet. What's the ads?
Yeah. I'm Laura. I'm the development manager in our US office. One of the other main differences between most of the AI tools, paid version versus not paid version, especially if you're working for a company and you want to protect your data, if you're paying for ChatGPT is not allowed to take your questions, your information about for example, if you're trying to train it to write in the style of brand and you're uploading examples to try to train it, you can't take that data and use it somewhere else. So that's the benefit of having the paid version. If you're not worried about that, then you can do the same prompt with the free version, but it protects your data. It's a privacy thing as well as like the manpower pieces as well. That's it.
All right. To just add quickly to what he said concerning the ChatGPT and majority of other AI, they actually have various models of responding to your prompts. Some will give you the normal feedback, some will give you deep research, especially for those who like to a lot. And for example, deep research can actually respond to something that could amount to about 20 pages of actually written work. So you just go back, edit, and various models like that, be it academic and the rest. But of course, the very, very obvious one is number of trials, number of what you could process at a time, then uploading of files for, let's say, well, in summary, the paid version is just for more features. You get not actually a difference in response for the normal random 2 or 3 line prompts. So that's it.
All right. Okay, so we have someone over there that wants to ask a question. Mr. No. Yes, you can.
Thank you. It's not a question. I just want to add to what she said. So for the paid version, I haven't directly used the paid version, but I got my friend told me that she uses the paid version and she said that if you're using a paid version, there's a way it protects your data relating to what she said. And if you use the information on like paid version, free version, if you use it somewhere, they can say, oh, it's plagiarism because you got it from the internet. It's free. But if it's the paid version, there's a way it protects your data, your information. So I got that response from my friend one certain time, but I haven't used the paid one directly. So I also want to add, it's different from this first statement. Okay, you don't have them. Okay. So I remember when I did my project, and then my project topic that was given to me, then there was no ChatGPT and the rest. So I did my project myself. And what I used was Google. And the topic then it was not familiar to me, but what I did that will help some of the final year students that are here, instead of taking that topic and just putting it into ChatGPT to give you information and just take it back to your supervisor, I think what can help is you can break the terminologies of the project topic. Like if, like me, I worked on snail reproductive performance of Achachatina marginata using number of wolves. What I did was I took the first step. I used it on Google and they explained to me. That's how I broke it down, and it gave me different informations until I got a full complete project. It wasn't easy, it wasn't a day work, it wasn't a month work, but it helped my critical thinking. It helped me through the process. So instead of just putting the topic on the paid version, your chat GPT, and just getting everything and just submitting it like that, which will end up in plagiarism, I think start on time. If they give you a project topic, start on time. Take your time to break the terminologies and work on it step by step. And as you are doing that, it's helping you also. It doesn't mean that you are not using chat GPT, but work on them termly, use the terminologies. With that, you understand it better and you'll be able to defend your project. So that's just what I want to add to it. Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot. Thank you very much, everyone. So now we are coming to the end of the question and answer session. Please, can we give a round of applause to Mr. Carl, Mr. David, to Miss Lauren for the time with us for the session. So in case you have any other question, you can just, pen it down and give it to any of the facilitators, as the person of Miss Peculiar or Auntie Sarah. I'm sure we know them, right? All right, thank you very much. So let's make welcome Miss Peculiar for the announcement. Thank you. Let's clap for her.
Now you.
Okay, good afternoon. We are bringing this session to a close, this day rather to a close. But quick announcement: tomorrow we are coming back by 12:30. I understand that we go to church, so we are asking you to go to church on time. Those of you that can attend first service, go for first service so that you can close on time and be on time. Because 12:30 on the dot, exactly 12:30, we are starting. And like found has indulged us earlier, we should learn timeliness to activities like this. So tomorrow would show if we've heard what founder have said to us or not. I understand that some sacrifices need to, but then again, it's sacrifice. Tomorrow is not the bad mic. I don't know why it's still sleeping. Tomorrow, 12:30, and we'll be having our hard skills sessions. Those of us that were around during the first workshop that we had, you know how it was. We are coming to pick up from where we left off. Pick up from where we left off. I hope I'm correct. So I think that's that. See you tomorrow. Please let's rise for the closing prayer. Let's our most righteous and heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the success of today's section. We ask that you brood over all that we've learned today. We ask for the grace to be able to implement all of these things into our lives. And at the end, it will lead to us having some level of growth in the name of Jesus. And at the end of the day, we would have every cause to glorify your name, be thou exalted and magnified. In Jesus' most wonderful name we've prayed. Amen. So we are done, and need to exit the hall very quickly because we are having another program here now. So we'll pick up our bags. There is a pack of food for you at the back. So just pick up your bags, pick up your pack of food, and you can leave the office. Let's do this as fast as we can because, like I said, we have another program that wants to happen here now. Thank you very much.